Hello and welcome to this edition of Planet Hope here on France 24, the programme dedicated to the UN Millennium Development Goals. This week we're focusing on gender equality. The Amhara province in Ethiopia is home to one of the world's highest levels of early marriage. 80% of girls under 18 are married. The vast majority live with their in-laws by the age of just 12. In these poor communities, married girls often drop out of school, instead staying at home to take care of housework. Many never even learn to read or write. But that could be about to change under a new government initiative that aims to teach young girls about health, hygiene and marital life.
In the heart of the Amhara province in the north of Ethiopia, this group of young women prepares for a meeting. They all have one thing in common. They married young, very young. Such is the tradition in this part of Ethiopia, where half of all 15-year-old girls are married. In the centre, Hannah, a kind of life coach.
Do you know what faithfulness is?
Yes, one woman for one man.
Can we have sexual relations with someone that we don't know?
No.
When people meet, is it enough to just have one HIV test?
No.
How many must they have? 3. If someone has HIV, what should they do?
If someone has HIV, they mustn't share their razor, and they must warn people.
Hannah is one of the mentors on a programme called Misireta Hiwot, an Amharic expression which means base of life. The programme, run by the Ethiopian government alongside American NGOs, is aimed at girls aged between 7 and 24 years old.
I didn't know that HIV existed. Today, I learned how the illness is passed on and how I can protect myself.
Hannah is like a sister to the girls. Not only was she born in the region, she also shares the girls' story. She's one of their own. At only 21 years old, Hannah has already been married for 12 years of her life. She shares this house with a husband 9 years older than her and her brother-in-law.
This is where we store the wood.
Hannah was promised in marriage when she was only 1 year old. Then, at the age of 9, her parents sent her to live with her in-laws. Was it difficult to come and live with your in-laws so young?
Yes, very difficult. Because they were only my in-laws, not my actual family. And even though I was only 9 years old, my husband wanted to force me to have sexual relations with him. And even when we didn't have sex, he wanted me to sleep in his bed. Because I was very young, this traumatized me. It left real scars. It really wasn't a positive experience. At the time, I didn't dare close my eyes at night. I had nightmares, even when I slept with my mother-in-law. I imagined that he was coming at me at night. I suffered a lot.
And you tried to flee?
Yes. Once at night, I couldn't see anything, and I put my foot in the hall and hurt myself. But in any case, what could I do? I couldn't return to live with my parents, so I told myself that it would pass.
For Hannah, the Misireta Hiwot programme let her break out. Relations with her husband improved considerably. The course she took allowed her to learn a lot and to gain some freedom.
Things have changed. It used to be him who decided when to have sexual relations. But now that I know I have rights, if I'm not in the mood, he won't touch me.
Covering long distances on foot is part of a mentor's job. When she's not teaching, Hannah goes from door to door. While moving from house to house, she recruits girls for her classes. In this region, people gladly welcome her, and Hannah has gained families' trust. In fact, it was thanks to her people skills that she was herself picked for the task by her village's kebele, the equivalent of a town hall. In the space of a year, Hannah has brought 285 girls along to her classes, but there are still more potential recruits left.
Come, let's sit down.
This 14-year-old girl only recently arrived in the area to be with her husband.
Are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
I run a program which allows women to meet and talk with each other. It's every Sunday. Are you interested?
Yes.
I'm going to explain to her and teach her how not to get pregnant. Because at her age, it's dangerous to get pregnant. She could have a fistula if she gave birth.
Hannah still has to convince the girl's mother-in-law.
Your daughter has agreed to come to my class. I've come to ask for your permission. Do you agree?
I agree.
And to make sure that the girl will definitely come, Hannah sets a few things straight with her.
If she ever has to cook when it's time for the class, what will you do to help her so that she can still come along?
I can cook for her.
That's very good.
So are you going to come?
Yes.
That's a new recruit you've got.
Yes.
For 3 months, the girl will come to Hannah's class once a week.
In the beginning, it's difficult to convince them. But once they join the program, they love it.
Tanag has been coming to Hannah's classes for a few weeks now. She's 16 years old, has lived with her husband for 6 years, and already has a little boy. Her pregnancy went very badly, forcing her to stay in bed for nearly 9 months. How old were you when you had your first child?
15.
Do you think that was too young?
Yes, even the doctor felt sorry for me and told me that I was too young.
Today Tanag is well again, but her baby has malaria. Her pregnancy was such an ordeal that she doesn't want any other children.
We didn't used to have birth control, but since Hannah has shown us that we have, I use contraceptive injections, and she has also taught us basic hygienes and how to keep clean.
In only a few years, Tanag has become a model wife. Here, that means being a submissive wife. In the countryside, men rule the roost and have no respect for women. They often drink, use prostitutes, and beat their wives. Tanag's husband is no exception. But recently he seems to realise that he's been in the wrong, because now there are also classes and mentors for husbands.
I used to drink a lot, I went out at night, but with this program I learned that it's wrong. I didn't used to think much. What mattered was that I made the decisions. I never listened to my wife. I prefer being with a girl who's younger than me.
Why?
It makes her more likely to obey me.
Little by little, mindsets are changing here, but the traditions are firmly rooted and hard to change. And even though her husband is not far off, Tanag can't hide her distress. Are you happy in your marriage?
I stopped school. There's no happiness left. I had no choice. If only you could take me with you.
Hannah has stuck with school through thick and thin. She had to literally fight with her husband to keep going to class, and she even had him put in prison for a few days when he stopped her from going.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Her determination has allowed her to reach 10th grade.
What are you learning?
I'm Harry.
Show me your school books.
Hannah is better educated than the vast majority of girls in her community. So she set herself the challenge of persuading younger girls that marriage needn't mean dropping out of school.
I'm happy to see my efforts pay off.
For a year now, Hannah has enabled 85 girls to start back at school. She's taught them the alphabet, as well as addition and subtraction. From now on, her protégés will be the hands of this village teacher, a volunteer. And even though he's not himself well educated, it's still a good start.
A book. What is this? A book.
For me, there didn't used to be anyone. But now there is someone. I'm there for them, to guide them, to tell them what will be good or bad for them.
Hi, Mama, come up to the board.
Thanks to her tenacity, Hannah has sown seeds of hope in some of these girls' minds.
Write the missing letter on the board.
Like Haimamot, who dreams of becoming a doctor. Hannah knows Haimamot's family well. She'd insisted that her parents let their daughter come to school. In a region where 3/4 of all women are illiterate, it's often difficult to make parents see that their daughters are better off in a classroom than at home, especially when families are very poor, like Haimamot's.
We didn't know that school was useful. We tend to think that it's best for a girl to be married like me. But Hannah convinced us. We used to be against the idea, but now we agree. Hannah bought the books and my daughter started studying with her. We agreed with her learning to read and write, but Hannah has to provide everything. She has to take care of books and school uniforms. But now she has everything. She can carry on going to school.
When is she supposed to go to be with her husband?
Now, normally.
How old is she?
10 years old.
So why is she still here?
There's no questions of her going to be with him. She has to try her luck at school with Hannah. She has to try her luck.
Can you cancel the wedding?
Yes, if the parents agree. The wedding can be cancelled, and the girl can be free again.
Are you happy? Would you prefer to be married or to go to school?
To go to school.
For Hannah, it's mission accomplished. She's managed to get her whole community to participate. Now other girls like her will train to work as mentors in neighbouring regions. Across Ethiopia, 100,000 girls have already benefited from the Misureti Hiwot programme.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Planet Hope. Don't forget, you can watch this programme again and all our other reports by logging onto our website. That's france24.com, france24.com. We'll be back soon with another edition. Until then, thanks for watching and goodbye.